Whoa, hold on there. I see you guys already heading to the comments section, but hold on. Listen to my explanation first, and then you can fight me in the comments section after. Deal? Deal. Alright, what's going on everybody? It's Dawson, and today we have a pretty interesting video. Now, a little bit of this is based off circumstance, but I'll explain that later. So, let's go ahead and get started. When Bryce Harper is playing as well as he can, he is one of the top players in Major League Baseball. I mean, look at these numbers for his MVP season. But for as long as Bryce has been on the Nationals, manager after manager, the Nationals have failed repeatedly to make it past the first round of the playoffs. And this year, it looks like the Nationals probably won't make the playoffs at all, even with having one of the most capable rosters in the National League. Matt Scherzer has been a Cy Young candidate the past few seasons. Rendon is having a good year, and we have seen the arrival of rookie sensation Juan Soto. At the recording of this video, the Nationals do still somehow have a 43% chance of making the playoffs according to Fangraphs, which I don't think they will, but even if they do, there's no real point in another first round playoff exit. As many of you probably could have guessed, I, along with many others, were calling for a Bryce Harper trade at the deadline. And Harper's name was thrown around many times for a possible deal, but Nationals GM Mike Rizzo crumbled and said that he believed in this team. And then went on that day to trade away Sean Kelly, and that was pretty much it. To me, it sounded like Nationals ownership were too scared to move Harper with an impending fan backlash and wouldn't allow him to be moved. But this was probably one of the biggest mistakes the Nationals could have made. Now trades aren't completely over yet, and the Nationals did just get reliever Greg Holland because everyone is scared of that 7.62 ERA. But the Indians and the Diamondbacks look like perfect fits at the deadline, and the Nationals could have gotten starting pitchers with control left on their contracts. To be fair to you Harper fans, Bryce Harper has put together a great second half with a 367, 480, and 673 slash line since the All-Star break. Which, to be honest with you, Harper doing better now could have just increased his chances at leaving. Ladies and gentlemen, this offseason, Bryce Harper may very well become one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid player in baseball history, based off of contract annual value. Does he deserve it? From a player's only perspective, no. From an ownership perspective, possibly. Bryce Harper is one of the most entertaining players to watch in all of baseball. He shows emotion and he's a flashy player. Just look at his cleats from opening day. But at the end of the day, Bryce Harper is almost everything that you would want in a superstar player, because he gets people to show up, which means owners can get that. But notice how I said the word almost earlier? Think with me for a minute. What do you want from your superstar player? You want him to have the ability to come through in clutch moments and be able to carry your team as far as he can. But that's the problem with Bryce Harper. He has had too many times where he has been up and down. I do understand that this is baseball and players will have slumps like this. Everyone who has ever played the game of baseball has been in a slump. But I just don't mean the regular few week slump. Sometimes Harper's can last for a full season. I know I've talked about Harper's inconsistencies in the past, but I figured I would go a little more in detail here. Even with Harper's so-called slump, he is usually still a pretty good player compared to everyone else, but he is nowhere close to where his next contract will probably be. 2015, Bryce Harper had a WAR, aka wins above replacement, of 9.3, which is really good. The following year, his WAR was just 3. Now, I understand WAR is not a perfect stat, but when it comes to evaluating players, it does a pretty okay job. And a drop of 6.3 from one year to the next is not very good. And I know some of you are going to say, Dawson, Harper only played 111 games in 2016. And that is true, but look at the dips in slugging, average, and on-base percentage as well. Remember at the beginning of this video when I said that this relied on circumstances? Well, let me explain that a little more in detail. What Bryce Harper's contract value ends up as will result on what this means for the Nationals. If I could get Harper on a somewhat decent contract, I would re-sign him, no question about it. But the likelihood of Harper not being overpaid looks pretty slim at this point, especially with the Phillies having so much payroll, and former teammate of Harper, Jason Worth, has discussed Philadelphia with Harper. Bryce could be a Philly by the start of next season. Juan Soto is basically Bryce Harper 2.0 for the Nationals. At only 19 years old, Soto looks like a possible candidate for NL Rookie of the Year and has put up better numbers than Harper did in his rookie season, and is one of the best teenage hitters to ever play in Major League Baseball history. I mean, his WRC plus this season is 161. Soto isn't the best fielder, but he does decent enough, especially with the pop that he provides in that lineup. So a young outfielder that hits well and has some flair, that reminds me of a Nationals rookie a few years back. But seriously, Soto fits right in where Harper did, and the best part is the Nationals can use a truckload of money they were planning to spend on Harper and spend it on other players. Because this team can still compete. Even if Harper leaves, I wouldn't expect the team to do a full tank or even a half one. The starting 9 for the Nationals is still pretty good. Catcher could use some work, but you could throw in some cash to sweeten a deal with the Marlins for JT Realmuto, since the Marlins do need money because nobody shows up to their games. And if Harper decides to leave, another outfield position will need to be filled in free agency or via trade, but even if they don't fill it, Michael A. Taylor isn't that bad of an 8-hitter. And lastly, starting pitching could use some work as well, which is why I would have traded Harper for a starter with some control left in his contract. But since that's been thrown out the window, there are a few decent pitchers hitting the free agent market after this season, like a Dallas Keuchel. Again guys, the Nationals' decision for Harper is really based on his asking price, which I assume will be too much. I understand the kind of name that Bryce Harper is, I understand the kind of crowd that he draws. But instead of throwing all your money at one player, to me it makes more sense to fill the holes in your roster. Because you know what else draws fans to a stadium? Winning a championship. But let me know what you guys think. If you were the Nationals and Harper was asking for an 8-year, $350 million contract, would you sign him or let him walk? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. And if you are subscribed, turn on bell notifications and you'll be notified every single time there is a new video. I have to say this before I get rained with dislikes. I do not hate Bryce Harper. I like Bryce Harper. There's a Bryce Harper jersey in my background when I have my face cam on. I just don't think he is worth the value that he's going to be asking for, okay? And a few things to look out for. Merch will be coming out very, very soon. I have some prototypes being sent to my house as we speak. And when the merch does release, some of it will be for a limited time only. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for that. And also, on Saturday morning, I am planning on releasing a new episode of The Leadoff. For those of you guys that are new, The Leadoff was a show at the beginning of the summer that I was planning to do every day. But it didn't really work out because it took way too long and to produce every day. But I was thinking of bringing it back as a series to do every single Saturday morning to recap everything that happened in MLB, since I know you guys have wanted some more MLB talk. So expect on Saturday morning for a new episode of The Leadoff. And on Monday night, I released an Oakland A's video about Moneyball, which is my favorite movie of all time. And it didn't really go around that much. I don't know if it's because I was gone for a while, but if you guys haven't seen it, I suggest that you check that out. There will be an end card for it at the end of the video, and the link to the video will also be in the description as well. But thank you everyone for watching. Again, if you're not subscribed yet, be sure that you are subscribed and turn on bell notifications. And I will see all of you guys in the leadoff on Saturday.
Yeah, I love her raw. Said she love me, but she cut me off. Yeah, late nights on the boulevard, hitting stains on an empty heart, yeah. I love her off. Said she love me, but she cut me off. Yeah, late nights on the boulevard. Hitting stay